We're a Polish company. We operate in Poland, Italy, and the UK. And we recently acquired Mondial Relay, which gives us access into the Spanish market, French, Belgium, and also Netherlands and Portugal. 58,000 PUDO network across the Mondial Relay estate. From an InPost locker perspective, we have 17,500 lockers across Europe. 15,000 of those are in Poland, where we have 50% of the population within a 7-minute walk of a locker. We have 300 lockers within Italy across the major cities. And in the UK, we've just passed 2,500 lockers. We'll have 3,000 by the end of this year, and we'll have 10,000 by the end of 24. Really building a large network. Our vision beyond just building lockers is really about challenging the status quo from a delivery perspective. So it's all about how do we put control back to the consumer around delivery. We always talk about delivery is something that is typically done to you. We believe that through a locker network, we can take back control from a consumer perspective. So yeah, very exciting space, I believe.
Definitely. Clara?
Hi, everybody, and I'm Clara Villa. I'm responsible for Last Mile in Naked. I don't know if you know Naked, but Naked is a Swedish e-commerce company. We are in the business of fashion retail, and we call ourselves customer obsessed. We try to have the best customer experience by giving the best delivery to our customers. We believe that delivery is the key to differentiate ourselves from other retailers, since most of us were selling the same kind of products, and we try to just create this wow experience and make our customers come back and communicate between.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you. And so lockers. I've previously worked for a company that did lockers, and I think the focus on lockers has been a lot more intense in the last couple of years, but lockers have been around a long time. Why do you think lockers have sort of taken off? You both mentioned customer experience there. Is that the reason why, or why are lockers now in trend?
I think customer experience is a big part of it. Particularly in the UK, we're seeing a larger uptake from a locker perspective, but coverage is really important. So visibility and having access to a locker. It's ingrained within the Polish way of doing things. Success in that market, and also success of lockers within the Nordics region. We all have the same pain points and challenges as consumers. Success in those markets we know will drive success in the other markets. And really, we're at an inflection point where consumers are looking for more, and I think control absolutely is the key. Particularly when we move out of COVID, we've spent the last 2 years at home, where home delivery has been very good for us. But now as we move back into the real world, missed deliveries and all the challenges associated with that, we don't want that anymore as a consumer. So being able to have a parcel delivered to a locker, the trust that it's there, and also the ability to collect that 24/7 on your own terms, I think is really important. And consumers today, particularly younger consumers, they warm to technology-based solutions. We're all mobile phone obsessed, QR code driven. Lockers just fit really well and appeal to particularly the younger demographic. So I think there's a big shift and a big move towards lockers, both for delivery and also on returns. So I think there's a big change. And like I said, other markets have been hugely successful. Same pain points. I think we're going to see that shift and move across other countries.
And just to add to that, obviously you mentioned Mondial Relay. That's a huge acquisition. Obviously a very successful company. They've got a good retailer base already and have done a lot of things. Is that part of what you're seeing? Because obviously InPost has traditionally been lockers and only lockers. The move to do PUDO points and all that, is that to cater to the retailers or to the end consumer?
Both, because the two different propositions do play to different audiences, but it also gives great coverage. So within Poland, we do pick up parcel shops as well as lockers. We do home delivery. In the UK, we're exclusively locker. We might well look at something else in the future. It just made sense with Mondial Relay that we could get great European reach very quickly, and also then start to add our locker network into the Mondial network. And the vision is ultimately we will then connect these countries together to be one unified logistics network, borderless commerce, essentially. So
amazing. Amazing. And from a Naked perspective, how do you How do you view the same thing? Like your focus, you said very consumer focused. Is that what you're driving to look at lockers and PUDO points, etc.?
Yeah, as we said before, consumer is the main focus of our attention. And basically the way that we engage consumers to buy with us and not with other competitors is on the checkout. So we choose really careful the options that we offer on the checkout, and we choose really careful what we announce on the checkout. Lockers and technological delivery options offers the possibility of have a more defined delivery promise where the customer can plan a bit more their delivery time when they will pick up and give them full flexibility of the whole journey. On the other hand, usually as a technological option, Lockers offers as well a follow-up of where the parcel is in every moment and a specific time that it will be delivered, and they're there.
Excellent. And in the title of today's talk, you mentioned the word control. Control for obviously a lot of parties through this process is the consumer, obviously being able to control when it arrives, but there's the retailer being able to control the experience that they give. But then you look at providers like PUDO points and lockers, like, what's a retailer who's putting lockers in? What, they're bringing them into their stores or different things like that. What are they getting from it?
Are you talking about, lockers in a store?
Lockers in stores, yeah. You mentioned obviously with Monday Relay, etc.
Yeah,
is it footfall?
It's all about footfall. It's interesting debate, actually. But yeah, ultimately it is about footfall.
Yeah.
But also we've entered a number of conversations with retailers in the UK that we're also looking at how do they automate their click and collect. So where they have had a successful click and collect function, that can be quite an overhead operationally for retailers. So we have had a number of conversations around locker placements in store and servicing their click and collect in store as well. So the benefit of a closed loop network within the retail, but also an open loop network to drive traffic. So I think there are a number of benefits, but it's quite early in the evolution in the UK, certainly around those discussions, but definitely becoming more relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously for us, we want to make it easy again for our customers. So we follow a bit what's their daily journey, and we want to offer solutions for them to pick up the parcels on the places that they frequent more. So that's where lockers are based, on train stations, supermarkets, and it's points that we visit several times during a week, during a day. So we made this journey seamless. The customer doesn't need to go proactively anywhere to be able just to pick the parcel.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm just going to add to that. That's right.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I think that's a really key point. So we call it about lifestyle integrated network. And there's a really interesting stat that came out of our Polish market. So I think 72% of consumers that collect from a locker actually do so whilst running another errand. So you may or may not have seen, but we launched our partnership with Tesco's just last week. So we'll have 500 Tesco stores within the UK. We already have a number of other supermarket stores. We have the train station networks. We have universities, car parks, convenience stores. So again, the places where people will be and will want to be. And it makes it much easier for consumers to collect without having to do that extra trip. So you can order and collect on your way into work.
Definitely. And for someone like Tesco or Naked, it's a brand extension, right? So you're sort of saying, well, we're giving you opportunity. We want you to have a successful delivery. Yep. We want to give you that lifestyle.
No, you hit another really good point about brand extension there as well. I mean, that's the other benefit of a technology-led solution. You're not reliant on a third-party interaction necessarily. Whereas my order calls and challenges are a big problem for retailers. Yeah. Lockers address a lot of those challenges. The fact it's automated, you can control that brand experience more. It's kind of weird, isn't it? You invest so much time on your website and then you get to the delivery option and you just throw it over the fence and it's in the lap of the gods. But there's a lot of benefits from the both consumer and retailer side from a brand perspective for sure.
Definitely. And we always viewed lockers initially as outbound. Someone orders something, it gets delivered there, but it's the other way too, isn't it? Like the returns part's becoming more prevalent. It's both sides. Are you using both inbound and outbound?
Yeah, we use lockers for both outbound and returns because we believe in the same journey as well. Why should returns need interaction with the parcel shops, why not do it the same way as you pick up your parcel? So of course it's much easier to communicate with our customers if we offer the same experience for both outbound and returns. At the end, we are all facing into like more sustainable outbound and returns. In that case, that represents paperless as well. And that's a functionality that InPost and other local companies are providing us. Be able to just provide a customer with a QR code, scan the QR code. Now our generations, we don't have printers at home, and we have it really hard to find a place to print. So it makes it more difficult. And what's the base of retail e-commerce? We want our customers to try our products. So yeah, unfortunately, we need to make it easy for the customers to return as well if we want to be part of this growth.
For sure. And so, sorry, just an extension to what you said. So we've had a variety of different retailers join the stage over 2 days. Obviously, as a fashion retailer, like if you're willing to sort of say what your sort of return rates are they around the 20% mark or
a bit higher?
Higher, yeah.
But I have to say as well that easy returns has been the key of our success, of our growth. We want our customers to know us, to try us, and to decide if they like us. And thanks to this easy return policy, we got there. Of course, now when we became a bit more mature, we decided to look more into it and see how can we reduce these returns? How can we encourage customers to buy with more, buy in a more reasonable way, let's say. But yeah, the challenge is there.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess, everyone's always fixated on free returns or paid returns. Do you have, I know you do have an opinion on that, John?
I mean, from a consumer point of view, I mean, everyone likes free returns, right? I mean, it's the best experience. It make it frictionless from a process point of view, but also free is the ultimate. But I think, we need to understand that it's a little bit more complex than just offering returns for free. I don't think it's a binary, free or not for free. I think, at the end of the day, retailers need to make money as well. So there's a P&L that sits behind that. So I think there's a smart way of doing it. I used to work for Klarna, who we did the pay later. So I spent a lot of time talking about returns over the last 10 years. And I do understand the value of having a good returns policy and how it does drive sales and customer lifetime value. But, sometimes you do need to charge for returns, and maybe you tie free returns to a loyalty program or a Premier. So you don't have to do it across the board. Like I said, it doesn't need to necessarily be a binary yes or no, but I think there are smarter ways of doing it. But I absolutely buy into frictionless returns, both from a process and a cost point of view. Certainly for the customers that are your most loyal, you can identify them. I think it absolutely is critical. Otherwise, they'll go elsewhere. Why hit someone over the head when they already bought something that doesn't fit and then charge them for it? It just doesn't leave a sour taste in the mouth. Yeah,
they're probably not going to buy again.
No, exactly. Yeah.
And yours is free returns or paid? Or
on our side, it's free returns for now. We don't believe on just charging for charging. If we would ever put a charge on returns, it would be for a reason. So we could justify it as a help for the climate compensation of these returns or associated to the expenses we might have for that. But as it is for now, we're not charging for returns. However, we have some actions that we've been taking to reduce this return rate. We recently reduced our return policy from 90 to 30 days with the explanation of being able to resell these products. Usually if it's 90 days returns, we receive products that they are off season. So we are most likely not able to sell them again, which end up being either stored in a warehouse or sold as overstock in bulk. So it doesn't bring any profit to us, but either to the consumer. So in that case, reducing to 30 days, we believe that we will be able to reduce the return rate. And after 30 days, we will be, instead of refunding the customers, we'll be offering store credit.
Yeah. And just put to the audience, from everyone who's here, who's using free returns within your business at the moment? Couple, probably about half. And I assume everyone else paid returns or or you don't do returns or no returns? That's fine. We've got some free returns in the crowd, so that's good. Sorry, lost my train of thought there. So technology. So what's interesting around lockers, like everyone just assumes things go out, you go to a locker, you pick it up, you just scan your QR code. I'm actually interested to sort of dig in a bit deeper on sort of how the lockers are connecting. Like when you're connecting to retailers now, what does that look like from an experience? Because you can have agnostic lockers where anyone can use it, or you've got dedicated lockers for customers. Like if any of these retailers sitting here today are hoping to put lockers in or utilize it, what does that look like?
So in the UK at the moment, we're completely open loop, right? So we don't have lockers in store with any retailers currently. I mean, we have locations outside, but it's all open loop. So, which is a key differentiation over some of the other providers who are closed. So any retailer can work with us, and we're actively recruiting retailers onto our platform.
Yeah.
And we offer both returns and outbound, because that makes most sense. You get the 360. And we do a lot of work with retailers around how that integrates on site. Raising awareness is early on in the process. Certainly on the returns, we're doing a lot around the greener elements and messaging, because sustainability is becoming a bigger part and an expectation from consumers. And our proposition lends itself very well to that. I think it's statistically, we did some work with a third-party consultancy in the UK. Lockers, you get a 2/3 reduction in CO2 with a locker delivery, just because of the consolidated approach.
Yeah.
So again, it's becoming a bigger part, and we work very closely on the messaging of that. And retailers see the benefits of offering a greener delivery option. So that's very much. And then obviously you've got the widgets and how it looks and where's your location. And obviously as we grow our network, we're positioning our lockers in places where our retailers' consumers are. So we work very closely with our network design team, works closely with the retailers we work to make sure we get the best locker placements on top of just population coverage. So
excellent. Yeah, definitely. And from a Naked perspective, I'm always intrigued, because I've come from the carrier side of things. I was in obviously dealing with retailers and carriers, and then I shifted into a business with InPost that had pack station lockers, but they're not very prevalent. but how do you, like, you've obviously got carriers. I don't know which carriers you use. You might want to say, but how do your carriers sort of react to you looking at alternative deliveries and that? And is that a conversation you have with them, or do you just continue on?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the focus on the way that we look for delivery companies, it changed because the customer mentality changed as well. At some point, some years ago, it was all about free delivery, standard delivery service with a standard lead time and for free over a threshold, or even for free from zero. Our customers now, they demand something else. They demand this extra service, they demand sustainable, and they demand fast delivery. So from our side, the negotiation with our previous carriers, with our standard carriers that has been accompanying us for years, has been quite tricky, because they were used to negotiate just with volume. We lower the price, but that doesn't happen for us anymore, since we want to have diversified checkouts to be able to offer the delivery options that every customer niche decides. And that has been a transition in the UK. We had a recently really big growth after Brexit. We were working with one standard carrier, and now we are just starting to put other new carriers that offer this differentiation on the service. And then our usual carrier comes back to us and says, but I can give you better price. Like, yeah, but price is not the main focus anymore. We just want to offer a good customer experience. And at the moment, we are not 100% satisfied with this. So we would rather try something else and see if our customers like, and then they will come back, and to increase conversion.
Yeah. And have you seen, like, what we found, obviously, when we used to run checkouts, so that was what our company did. And once you add more options and give people options, they might choose the cheapest service, they might choose the fastest service, but at that time when you give them options, the Wizmo calls decrease. People are less likely to call in if they've picked that option. Have you found that as you're sort of giving different options to, express delivery versus lockers, etc.?
Sorry,
less customer service calls by giving more options. Yeah,
exactly. Because once you're offering the preferred delivery option, the customer already knows the process, because I assume that they are used to it. You are used to it with other retailers or with other e-commerce companies. So the customer service context decrease, since customers know the service that they are using, and they are going to the one that they are familiar with. So yeah, that absolutely. And sorry, if I can just add something, like another thing that is decreasing highly our customer service context is to be able to give such a fast delivery. With InPost, we're able to inject the parcels during the night, and then the next day they are already delivered. So our customers, they don't have the chance to contact our customer service but the moment they have something to say, the parcel is already delivered. So that's quite key. The decrease in lead time has decreased as well, the context.
Excellent.
Yeah, I think we're quite uniquely placed here. I think there's a delivery paradox. You talked about it earlier. So increasingly retailers want a faster service, but they want it greener and they want it at a price point that's attractive. It's very difficult to square that circle, the delivery paradox. And I think lockers are uniquely placed to actually help address that, because locker delivery, you can do overnight delivery. So you can literally do an instant delivery, a late cut off and an early morning. We don't have that yet, but we're looking at that because we know that's attractive to consumers. The fact you're doing it overnight, there are unit economic benefits. Therefore, you address the cost challenge, and therefore you get a price point that works. And because it's consolidated delivery, and you're doing it overnight, you get all the benefits from a green perspective. So the technology actually fits that problem where traditional last mile to home, it's very, very difficult. I mean, there's lots of talk about, immediate same day, and that's great. And there's some really great innovation there. But again, there are still challenges around how do you manage that paradox. So I think it's going to be an increasingly big debate as we move forward.
And interested too, from an InPost perspective, like your relationships with carriers, like how's it different? In Poland, InPost has been so dominant for so long. Obviously, UK has been around a period of time, maybe not as long, but it's a very fragmented carrier market here. How have you sort of, in terms of getting your message out there and dealing with carriers?
Yeah, I mean, we work with a number of carriers for different parts of our service. Hermes for our outbound, we use City Sprint for our returns. In Poland, we own the full end-to-end. Okay, but really, we work in partnership with them very closely. I think we're focused. They're a very important part of the journey, obviously, operationally. But I think we're also very focused on how we make sure we build brand awareness, especially in a market that's growing like the UK. It's really important. We talk a lot about category creation. So how do we build our brand within the checkout? How do we create our own delivery option? I don't believe we fall under click and collect or the traditional click and collect, because we offer a differentiated service. So, I think getting the InPost brand out there is important. The carriers sort of sit behind in some cases, and in other cases we co-brand with our partners as well. So it's
and you envision the same sort of thing with Mondale Relay as well. Yeah,
I mean, that's a very new acquisition, so we're still working through that. But essentially, I think it will be co-branded. Yeah.
Excellent. I guess from a Naked point of view, the current challenges with last mile delivery during pandemic, like did you see a massive increase in your volumes during pandemic like some other retailers?
Yeah, we did, and it actually came from one day to another. And on our side, it was not that a big challenge. It was more on the carrier side in that case. It became a moment that carriers couldn't accept more parcels. So we were having delays towards our customers because of that. The capacity had to increase, and that was really challenging for us. It's true as well that it's been 1.5 years already since that moment. So our delivery methods were
crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. Our delivery methods were much different that time, and we were really focusing on home deliveries and flag delivery companies in every country. So obviously now with the new diversification of our checkout, that wouldn't be that much of a challenge, but we were late, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously the locker volumes, everyone was locked in their house, so was lockers utilised more, people going out just to collect at a locker, or they were at home? So
no, I mean, we naturally took a hit on the locker volumes when outbound. I mean, returns actually increased because it's a contactless element of the return piece. But we definitely sort of hit. But we're seeing a massive shift and change as we come out.
Yeah, definitely, and probably less on the locker side, but impacts like Brexit and and etc. Interested to sort of see. I haven't had a fashion retailer on any of my talks yet, so I'm interested to see sort of what impacts things like Brexit and etc. have had on your business in terms of VAT and all these challenges.
Yeah, for us was quite challenging at the beginning, especially because the rules didn't become clear until the last minute. So I remember it was Christmas holidays, 3 days until 1st of January, and the solution was not in place yet. And we wanted to avoid as much as possible to go with cross-border carriers, because at that time everything was about surcharges and about, as nobody was ready, they just kind of wanted to take advantage of it. So it was quite challenging. But I feel that now we create a sustainable, in terms of like long-term solution in the UK. So we take care of our own injection. We inject in bulk, we clear customs, and then we inject directly to our carriers' terminals to create a seamless experience on their side. So that has helped a lot, especially when we work with several carriers.
Excellent. And looking at sort of, I mentioned different different retailers, fashion retailers are obvious. Sort of what, is there any limits to, obviously there's a limit to the size of the lockers. Is that really the limit to the type of customers you can work with, or?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, we're looking at other verticals where we know there's going to be interest, looking at recycling a lot, because the demand, making the recycling journey, the returns journey as simple as possible really helps with recycling.
What about groceries and different things like that? Have you gone into that? Because I know we have some have.
Yeah, so we're doing an interesting trial in Poland. So we actually do some refrigerated lockers. We're doing a trial on groceries. We have been approached in the UK. It's quite exciting because the volumes are quite sizable.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
But we're not there just yet. Whether we'll do a pilot at some point in the future, but no. Right now, it's focused on our core, which is roll out the lockers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, within retail, outside of fashion, naturally that fits well because of the high return rates as well as outbound. But moving into DIY and other areas as well is a focus.
Yeah.
And the re-commerce is becoming, we actually partner with a couple of re-commerce companies as well, who will now offer our services because of the greener element. So recycling on the fashion side is becoming far more prevalent, and retailers working with, again, I think there's a really good opportunity and angle for us.
Like it's been mentioned a couple of times today, but that sustainability aspect is huge. It's coming up in every conversation. Mainly I'm raising that because I think it's important to talk about. But there is a real benefit to consolidation of deliveries to single points, people walking to collect it rather than having vans sitting around the city all the time.
Massive from a sustainability point of view and also capacity point of view. We talk a lot about innovation at shows like this, but a lot of the retailers we've been speaking to late, it goes right back to hygiene factors. We just don't have capacity. And again, lockers, you can do 10 times the volume you can through a home delivery. We've got 1 million lockers in the UK capacity a day. So and
they've extended the restriction zone around London City as well for vans to go in. So they're basically pushing that solution, and it is a debate. So I'll put a controversial topic, but I know it's successful in Netherlands, but actually having single drop-off points for all carriers, and then having local deliveries with bikes and more sustainable delivery, utilizing lockers, utilizing collection points. Like the fact that we haven't moved to that yet astounds me.
Absolutely. I think. We're getting to a point where there is an overall capacity issue where there will be no other choice but to do this. We've raised the bar on the amount of e-commerce we do. We're about to enter a peak on top of that. We know there are stresses and strains in the supply network already. Brexit, petrol, COVID. There's only so much capacity. There's only so many vans you can have going to houses before it becomes ridiculous. So it's going to be a force agenda. I think naturally people are going to err towards that anyway, but I think we're going to get to a point where there's no choice.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, what else are we going to do?
Definitely.
Interesting debate.
Yeah, excellent. I'm looking at the time, we're pretty much there, but was there anything else you want to focus on? Pretty good. I might throw it to the audience to see if there's any questions, anything you want to pose to either Naked or InPost. Yes?
I have a question about sustainability topic again, but what other solutions you guys, having such a dominant position, especially in Poland, can you propose and kind of also share it, like to put the pressure also on the competition? Like what sustainable solutions can be implemented by you as a leader to give a good example for sustainability? I know you're working on the QR codes for Dropbox. I think that would be a massive improvement, but could you maybe say what ideas do you have?
Yeah, that was just a question in regards, so I've just got to, for the people at home, so a question in regards to sustainability and what InPost can do to drive that more, having such a dominant market position in Poland. Yeah.
So we own our own logistics, so we're looking at electric vehicles. So that's another big part of what we're doing around sustainability, so end to end. Carbon calculators we're introducing as well, so making it more aware on what the savings are from a consumer point of view, so people are more likely to choose those options when they understand what the benefits of those options are further up the purchase funnel.
What about the packaging side of things? Because obviously at the moment there's a lot of things are being delivered to a locker. Locker's secure. So when someone collects it, like I'll use a pair of Jordans or something. Okay. So that was delivered in the original box without all the extra packaging. You could actually have that delivered to a locker without, hurting the environment or putting plastics in the environment. Yeah. Single-use plastics.
Packages is something we're looking at, and we have been approached by a number of UK retailers. It
was my idea, but right.
Yeah, no, I'm going to say thanks for saving that one. But of course it was.
Shares,
I love that idea. I mean, we're doing it. Absolutely.
Great. Yeah,
but no, I mean, a number of retailers in the UK have asked us about that, and you're right, because it is an enclosed box. Essentially, you can actually get away with having a packages solution. I'm looking over at my colleague Pete going, Pete, what else are we doing in sustainability in Poland? But I think we've covered most of the things. Yeah, I think we've got that packaged.
Yeah, no, that's good.
We're also doing some work with a company that does air pollution monitoring on the side of our lockers. So understanding actually what the impact is within that particular area. So, and again, driving data points that we can maybe utilize within our own app to then feed back to consumers. To help drive them towards that, sort of educate them towards using that type of solution. So there is some really cool stuff. It's a really big part of what we're doing in Poland. We also just signed up to the Amazon carbon neutral pledge as well. So another big part. So cool. ESG is a big thing, and we take the lead from Poland. So we're not as advanced as Poland in the UK, but we're doing a lot of work over the next year to sort of follow their lead, basically.
That's great to hear. Excellent. Thank you. Any other questions? No? Excellent. I think that concludes. Thank you so much for joining us on stage. It's been very pleasurable. And thank you, everyone. This concludes the rapid fire debates for Deliver. So it's been a pleasure. Thank you for everyone for turning up, and enjoy the rest of the show. And the awards, I think, are on shortly. So thank you.